The Worst Halo Ever is a masterpiece, is a catchy title, and one that sounds clickbaity, but it's not. It's genuinely how I feel about Halo Reach. Now, I'll be the first one to say that it managed to pull off one of the most emotional, impactful, and well-written campaigns of any game ever. So, how could I also think that it's the worst Halo ever? Well, I'll tell you why in just a little bit, but before that, let's talk about the game itself. Now, Halo Reach isn't a new game. In fact, it's nearly 16 years old now, but the campaign still holds up exceptionally well. You play this story through the eyes of Noble 6. Well, a Noble 6. See, you're the replacement for the previous Noble 6 who died dropping a bomb off on a Covenant ship after Noble 2's arm got blown off trying to do the same thing in one of the best game trailers of all time. Rewatching this looks sick, and ignoring how pretty and well made this trailer is, it also sets you up with lore for the story that isn't even included in the game itself. This trailer has more game depth than the entirety of Black Ops 7. But speaking of characters, let's get back on track. As Noble 6's replacement, you're thrust into a group that you don't know, which is perfect since you as a player don't know any of these characters either. Now sure, you could say, oh, but if you've played the other Halos before, then you'd already know. No, Halo Reach is a prequel to the Halo series, and besides a handful of characters and ships in this game, everyone's new, including the entirety of Noble team, you know no one. So you need to learn about your new team and grow with them, from investigating what is suspected to be an insurrectionist attack to finding out the reality, the horrors of what is really happening on Reach, from hearing backstories and learning their traits, from seeing them as new random characters in a game to seeing them as fleshed out and intricate people. And those emotions that you feel towards your team is what makes it so hard when, well, we're not quite there yet. The story takes place exclusively on and around the planet called, you guessed it, Reach. You're introduced to your team, Noble 1, Carter, Noble 2, Kat, smash, next question, Noble 3, June, Noble 4, Emil with just the coolest helmet of all time, and Noble 5, George. Now, none of your team are cookie-cutter soldiers. They're Spartans, and unique ones at that. Now, Spartans are super soldiers made to fight insurrectionists, and that brings us right to the first mission. Your first mission is to check on a settlement that has lost communication with the rest of the planet. It's speculated that insurrectionists have attacked, and it's unlikely to be much of an issue besides clearing the place out and reestablishing communication. But that's not exactly how it goes.
Welcome to Reach.
Your team lands, and while exploring, you find quite a few gruesome discoveries, and it's pretty clear that something's off. Whether it be that there's a lot more insurrections here than expected, or something else entirely. But sadly, it's hinted that that's exactly the case.
Says something in the fields killed his son. Something.
Not long after being told that, June spots heat signatures nearby, and you find yourself in the first firefight of the game. And it's not against humans. It's against an alien alliance known as the Covenant. Now, at this point in Halo lore, the Covenant has already been discovered and known for 25 years, with multiple battles already taking place, as we saw in the prequel trailer. But on Reach, something isn't right. You manage to fight your way through, eliminating grunts, jackals, and even some elites, eventually evacuating to a relay station to meet up with Emil and Kat, who are currently in a firefight trying to gain back access to the entrance of the station. After holding on long enough to get the door closed behind you, you enter the facility only to find the Covenant have already been there. You spot a wounded Marine as well as a dead scientist that you take a data card off of that quickly gets swiped by Kat, who promptly insults you, which some people are into, not me included.
Found something.
I'll take that, Six. Not your domain.
But it goes to show that you're new, and Kat, well, the whole team probably doesn't trust you yet. In Carter's own words,
You're stepping into some shoes the rest of the squad would rather leave unfilled.
I got a live one over here.
there is a survivor though, one that George is able to talk to and calm down, which shows his gentle and caring nature as opposed to Emil, who tells him he forgets who he is sometimes. These characters have personality. Emil feels like their jobs are just to fight, and kindness isn't a part of that, which goes perfectly with him being an up-close and personal fighter, while George, who is older and mainly supports the rest of the team, reflects that by being kind to everyone else, even when the situation is tense. Of course, we are snapped back to reality when the wounded soldier from earlier we found gets stolen like a Snickers bar at the front of a gas station. After giving chase, you're able to take out most of the enemy, but one of the elites escapes, which gives a hint as to why they're here in the first place. Once Cat is able to connect an uplink, Carter is able to alert Command that the Covenant are on Reach, and that's where the first mission wraps up.
This is Noble 1. There are no rebels. The Covenant are on Reach. Acknowledge?
Come again, Noble One. Did you say Covenant?
Affirmative. It's the Winter Contingency.
Mission 2 has you dive headfirst into a firefight at the Oni Research Facility, which is basically UNSC's intelligence division, which is yet another hint as to why the Covenant are here on Reach, and another point as to why I enjoy this campaign so much. Looking back at it, you see all these hints that they don't directly shove in your face. They just leave little tidbits here and there for you to discover, which is even more apparent when there's actually some place that you can explore in this mission that is used later on, but you don't get to know that it's as important as it is. This mission is a bunch of firefights and a bunch of moving around. Not the most exciting, and the campaign does start slow in Reach, but you're a Spartan. You're supposed to be able to handle Covenant like it's nothing. If only it stayed that way. You fight off Covenant inside the facility and shoot down the ships bombarding the base before meeting up with Dr. Halsey. She is the mind behind the whole Spartan project, which means that all of you know her. Every Spartan does. She scolds you for not killing the elite that escaped in the first mission and gives you the first real info on why all this is happening.
There are those at Oni, myself included, who believe the Covenant dispatch elite advance teams to hunt down artifacts of value to their religion. No doubt they came to the station for the abundance of Oni excavation data stored there. And you let them get away.
The third mission you're sent on is a nighttime recon mission along with June. Now, just because you have a sniper and just because it's night does not mean this is a stealth mission, and apparently the grunts noticed that too. Yeah, wow. But as you advance, you meet up with some resistance fighters, and with their assistance are able to find a Covenant outpost. After clearing the area of enemies, June leaves a secret bomb inside of the base to use later, and the mission ends with you and June overlooking a massive battle group that seems to just go on forever. And it's starting to get more and more clear that this isn't going to be a small skirmish. This is a full-on war. The next mission makes that apparent when it throws you in the middle of a massive convoy doing a counterattack against the Covenant. The UNSC are not going to let them take Reach easy, and it shows. You ride in on a Warthog, and after some rims were curbed by Cat, you find yourself instantly back in the action. The main goal of this counteroffensive is to destroy the shield generators that are allowing the Covenant to land their fighting force, and you make your way through the map in vehicles, some of which are Covenant like this Wraith that I stole and proceeded to totally abuse the power of, but then again, it was fun, so go shove it. A fun little side mission within this level is actually to take out a special elite before he escapes. And while sure, in a lot of games there are side missions, in a game this old and an FPS at that, something like this just makes it feel a little more interesting. It keeps you on your feet and changes the objectives in real time. Of course, the pro I am, I annihilated that elite the first time, and it was totally the first time. Looks, no. Okay. Anyways, after all that, you find yourself at the Spire. After your Pelican goes down, you and George have to fight your way to the top and disable the shield, which, of course you do. You're Spartans. Nothing bad ever happens to Spartans. Foreshadowing. With the shield generator down, you and George get evac to watch the frigate Matt Cannon the ever-living shit out of the Spire. Yeah, UNSC wins. Woo, yippee. Aww. Yeah, so with a massive Covenant carrier showing up, you have a new problem. But that's fine because Cat is a solution.
You can say no.
No.
You don't even want to hear it.
Fine, I'll hear it.
Remember that accident a couple years back? Colony ship en route to Cygnus, 700 dead.
Vaguely a slip space drive malfunction, right?
Actually, it worked fine. The drive was mounted improperly after a service haul-out. When it fired, it teleported half the ship to oblivion.
This is relevant. How?
A certain Covenant supercarrier could, with some assistance, suffer the same unfortunate accident.
A batshit crazy solution, but a solution. Essentially, she wants to take the jump drive out of a frigate and send it inside of the carrier to rip it apart from the inside. But honestly, it's not a terrible idea considering that you don't have anything else that will get the job done. And if you don't take out this carrier, you're not going to survive until reinforcements arrive. Now, Miss Know-It-All over here apparently knows that Noble 6 was a test pilot for a secret spacecraft project. And after reaching the ships and flying up to group up with the UNSC frigate and a few other fighters, the plan goes into motion. And none of the soldiers know this, but this mission will result in a huge shift in the tide of the war on Reach. But not in the way you think. After defending the station, George boards the Pelican with the bomb attached while you intercept a Covenant corvette along with the UNSC frigate that offered its drive to be the payload before giving its fire support. You take out the ship's fighter escort and disable its engines before boarding to fight for control. I think something that really makes this game stand out is the sacrifice, and this is a good example. You don't just hear the frigate explode or watch it either. You hear the comms. You have talked to the commander in cutscenes and throughout the mission, and with everything put together, I genuinely stopped to watch it as it went down. By giving names and interactions even to soldiers that are only in the game for a short time, it still has an impact, and it's something I think they really nailed. Regardless of that loss, you push on, and after taking the bridge, you request a refuel with the carrier. With the bomb on board and everything already in motion, the last thing to do is to get off the ship and watch it all happen. Well, that's if everything went to plan.
With the Covenant supercarrier. 76 seconds to endpoint.
So, it's gonna be like that. Well, I got good news and bad news. This bird took some fire and our thruster gimbal is toast, which means the only way off this slag heap is gravity.
And the good news?
That was the good news.
At current velocity, 53 seconds to endpoint.
Yeah. Bad news is, time is fried. I'm gonna have to fire it manually.
That's a one-way trip.
We all make it sooner or later. Better get going, Six. They're gonna need you down there. Listen, Reach has been good to me. Time has come to return the favor. Don't deny me this. Tell him to make it count.
And just like that, you're thrown down into orbit, simply watching as the Corvette, carrier, and most importantly, George all go up in a burst of energy. The mission was a success, but after losing so many soldiers, including a member of your own team, one that you knew was kind and thoughtful, it hurts, and this game delivers on making you feel that way. What makes it worse is directly after the carrier goes down, many more Covenant carriers and ships jump into orbit. I said this mission was going to have a huge shift in power, but it wasn't for the UNSC, it was for the Covenant. Even after you pulled off a near impossible mission and sacrificed so much, just a moment later, the Covenant are even stronger than before. After crashing back down planetside, followed by the carrier that you just helped bring down, you make your way to a nearby city and are introduced to a whole new element in what was already a tough fight: civilians. The city's name is New Alexandria, and it has been under siege for 5 days already. You need to fight your way through the city, avoid shooting civilians, and protect them as they get evacuated, which not all of them will get the luxury of. This mission is much more difficult than the ones before, and I think it really shows that the Covenant are gaining strength both in numbers but also the quality of their soldiers. The brutes, especially the shielded ones, are incredibly hard to take out, but it just makes the stakes even higher, and the amount of soldiers and ODST troops that I fought alongside and weren't able to save was nearly every single one I met. Oh, and did I mention the ODST troops yet? Their jobs are to be sent from orbit, often behind enemy lines, to act as special operations units. They look awesome, and their helmets were always one of my favorite in the Halo universe, which is why I swapped it before I actually played this mission. After making it through the city, you're able to launch a missile battery at a corvette, which is shooting down transport ships that are trying to evacuate civilians from the city. The battle is a nightmare, but you manage to do it anyways, and hearing a ship pilot telling you,
"You saved a lot of lives today, Spartan,"
really gives achievement to this mission. Hearing those NPC dialogues towards you is such a great way to immerse you in a game like this. Finally, you reconnect with Noble Team over comms and have to break the news to them that George didn't make it, solidifying that the first of Noble Team has fallen. But George isn't going to be the last. Now we're on to my second favorite mission of this entire game, New Alexandria. In this mission, you get to pilot a Pelican, shooting down Banshees and attacking enemy turrets, in between finding and destroying the radio jammers within multiple buildings, fighting alongside allies as you go. You then have to assist in covering fire for evacs and escorts, which is an amazing mix of objectives for a single mission. It is a welcome, slower feeling, and still engaging mission within what has so far been a straight line path game. Think of this as the AC-130 missions within Call of Duty, but better. They have more substance to them than simply flying around. Now, being the Spartan you are, you manage to get to and destroy all of the jammers, opening up radio travel back to the city, maybe even allowing a counterattack, but more than likely simply making it easier to coordinate the evacuation of whoever remains alive within the crumbling capital. There's a hail from Captain Keyes on an open channel, meaning whatever it is, this is beyond urgent if he's risking the Covenant hearing what you're about to hear.
What's he doing on an open channel?
Let's hear it.
"In the southwest quadrant of the city. Over. Sierra 259. If you are receiving, I am authorizing override of radio security protocols to link with this channel."
How long for a secure link?
I can't guarantee secure anymore.
Could Covenant trace it to us?
I could.
"Noble Leader, this is a Priority 1 hail. If you are receiving, acknowledge immediately."
Keep it brief.
But right in the middle of Carter and Captain Keyes' conversation, there's a radiation spike, the kind that grows. Contact gets cut short, and after a massive explosion, it's clear you and your team have to move, now. As the Covenant commences glassing of the city, named that because, well, come on, they are making this entire city into glass as well as everything around it. That's why it's called glassing. You all take an elevator down towards the bunker, which I was told never to do, but it's your best chance of survival. Carter tells you all that your next mission, the one that was so urgent Keyes risked the Covenant knowing about it, is to go and destroy the Oni base where, sadly, Halsey had already been killed. Kat isn't sure about the mission, but it's not up for negotiation. As the elevator doors open, you all rush towards the bunker, but before reaching it, an elite sniper inside of a Phantom shoots Kat with a needle rifle. With her shield already down from the radiation of the glassing, the needle rifle's round penetrates straight through her helmet, killing her in an instant. You all return fire and haul her lifeless body into the bunker, but it's too late. She's gone. A third of Noble Team is gone. And after all that, you still have a mission to do. You and what remains of Noble Team fly back to the Oni base, and due to them probably running out of budget to make new maps, you're back at some place you've already been. Yeah, you thought, hell no, this game is way too good for that, just wait and see. After fighting your way through the defenses that the Covenant have put up around Oni base, which by the way is a cool way to show the development of the planet. A place you previously controlled so quickly turned into anti-aircraft turrets, watchtowers, and hordes of Covenant light armor. But after doing all that, you arrive at a location that is listed as the demolition site, and it's somewhere you could have explored before. But it's not the demolition site. Seeing all the dead Marines in one spot, Carter knows something's up, and after an unknown AI gives Carter's AI updated coordinates to rendezvous, a secret entrance opens. One so important that all these Marines died trying to hide it. After loading onto a tram system, it's discovered Halsey isn't dead, and you don't need to destroy the base. You're there to secure both her and data from an alien artifact and escape the planet with it. But the problem is, the data's not finished decrypting yet. You build some turrets and fight an onslaught of Covenant at the entrance before finally being able to retreat inside, meeting up with Halsey in the process. It's revealed this artifact may hold the secrets needed for humanity to turn the tide against the Covenant, or at least that's what Halsey hopes, because if it doesn't, there isn't any other way that humanity will survive. With the weight of all that importance looming in the air, it's revealed that the unknown AI from earlier has picked you to transfer it and the sensitive data. And it's no random AI. It's Cortana, Master Chief's AI before she was ever his, picked you to get it off this planet. With the base falling apart, you all evacuate, but split up. June is tasked with getting Halsey off planet, while you, Carter, and Emil are tasked with getting Cortana and the data to the Pillar of Autumn safely. One last mission before you can all get off this hellhole. If only you were all so lucky. With Cortana and the data on board the Pelican and Carter piloting it, you're intercepted by Banshees on your way to the Pillar of Autumn. Carter gets severely injured, and the plane's damaged as well, so you and Emil are ordered to jump out of the ship and get there on foot. Emil knows what's happening, and at this point you do too. You fight your way through the roads, even using a quad to avoid scarabs that would decimate you if you tried to fight them head on. The Covenant are becoming overwhelming, and it's really starting to feel like it too. On your way to the Pillar of Autumn, you need to pass through some narrow caves, and besides the weird bug horde in there, it's not too difficult. That is, until a scarab completely blocks your path, and it looks like this might be it, but Carter's not about to let that happen. He sees the scarab, and knowing his plane is already severely damaged as well as being injured himself, he knows what he has to do. Carter turns the Pelican around, and after signing off to what remains of his team, takes the scarab down at the cost of his own life, leaving just half of Noble Team alive, 2 of which still remain on this planet with a mission that needs to get done if humanity wants to survive. With Carter's sacrifice, you're able to make it all the way to the landing pad near the Pillar of Autumn, but you need to clear it for Captain Keyes to land and extract you and Cortana. To make that possible, Emil gets into an anti-aircraft gun and starts shooting down the Covenant Air Forces while you fight any that manage to make it to the ground. The fight is tense, but you make it through, and Keyes is able to fly down along with an escort. You hand off the package, but right as you do, a Covenant Phantom appears and takes down the support Pelican before maneuvering over Emil, dropping down an elite right onto him, which he quickly takes out. He's the close-range specialist after all. Sadly, he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, and the second one that sneaks up behind him stabs him directly through the back with an energy sword. But Emil isn't done. Pulling out his knife, he stabs it in the head, making sure that that elite goes down with him. With a Covenant Corvette approaching that would likely destroy the Pillar of Autumn on takeoff, and no one on the anti-aircraft gun anymore, you know what has to be done. You tell Captain Keyes good luck before turning back to the compound and setting off to do what has to be done. You fight your way back up to the turret, spotting Emil's lifeless body sat right there next to it as you get inside. You take out every single enemy aircraft in your view, including the Corvette, protecting the Pillar of Autumn long enough that it has time to escape, taking Cortana and the data that may save humanity. The screen cuts to the Pillar of Autumn, traveling to the Halo rings with Cortana's voice and seemingly Master Chief on board. The intro to Halo 1. Now, I wouldn't blame you for thinking that that's the end, but it's not actually. And this is somewhere that I think Halo Reach really did something special. They put you in a mission with one sole objective: to survive. Now, you're not. You don't beat this level. No one beats this level. And sure, you could just give up and die and be over with it all, but you're not going to do that, are you? You're going to fight. You're going to explore around the map, scavenge between the other dead bodies of Spartans. You're going to find cover and battle against the enemy, and while doing that, I thought of something. When you look at games such as Call of Duty Black Ops that came out around the same time, you have a bad guy, Makarov, and if you could just get to that bad guy and kill him, then you win. Everybody else doesn't matter. You would have won. And that's not this game. There's no bad guy. You are never going after the leader of the Covenant or some commander that was controlling all the enemy forces on Reach. You were fighting a war that you were losing. And it doesn't feel like some fairy tale hero that can save the world like Master Chief. It feels like a damn good soldier who's not going to make it home. And you don't. Fight as hard or as long as you want, but at the end of this mission, you die. Never knowing that getting Cortana off planet saves humanity, not knowing that June goes on to survive and become a recruiter, not knowing anything past giving your planet, your comrades, and your fellow humans at least a glimmer of hope that they won't end up how you did. And now, after all that, do you want to know why I think Halo Reach is the worst Halo ever made? Because this was my first Halo game. And the story of Halo Reach gave me no desire to play any other Halo games whatsoever. I became so entwined with Noble Team's story that when Noble 6, when I died on that last mission after fighting for as long as I could, that's where I wanted my Halo story to end. Of course, I hope that Cortana and the data I got off planet would save humanity, and of course I wanted to know what happened after. But I didn't feel like that was my story to experience. Halo Reach was so much of a masterpiece that it made me not want to play any other game in the series. And that's why I think it's the worst Halo ever.